Good morning. I'm Roger Haynes, Director of Athletics at Monmouth. I want to welcome all of our alumni, family, and friends to our beautiful campus. I hope that you enjoy your time with us this weekend. I'd like to recognize again the Pratt and Axline families for their generous contributions that make the permanent home of the Hall of Fame such a great location to recognize the best of Fighting Scott athletics. A special thank you to Jane Pratt and Bill Axline families for all they've done for athletics at Monmouth. For those of you that don't know where it's at, right at the top of the stairs, directly behind the glass doors, is the permanent displays. The displays of today's inductees plaques are in the outside the door, and inside the door is the total collection of all the Hall of Fame inductees. So take some time this morning to walk through there if you'd like. I'd like to thank the members of our Student Athlete Advisory Committee serving as our hosts this morning at the door. The mission of the National Student Athlete Advisory Committee is to enhance the total student athlete experience by promoting opportunity, protecting student athlete welfare, and fostering a positive student athlete image. So thanks to those folks today. A little bit of activities on campus for you wrap up. The homecoming parade on East Broadway, basically between the square and 9th Street, will begin at 11:30. It'll include the College Pipe Band, Fighting Scots Marching Band under the direction of Monmouth alumni Eli Kelly. Those included in the parade will be our inductees, the 2024 Homecoming Court, Alumni Award recipients, as well as, I used to think this was a million years away, but the 40, 35, 30, 10, and 5-year reunion classes. I passed 40 a couple years ago, so it doesn't seem so old now. The homecoming football game against Illinois College kicks off at a special start time of 2 p.m. at the Zorn Stadium. We need all three of our inductees to meet me at the 50-yard line at 1:45 to be recognized to the crowd before the coin toss. Bo, if you're lucky, they might let you do, or any of you, might let you do the coin toss. So that's our activities in general this morning. So now it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the #1 fan of Fighting Scott Athletics, Dr. Patricia Graves, the 15th President of Monmouth College.
About that, Roger. Well, welcome, and welcome to an early morning after I think maybe a late night for some of us last night, so we're so glad you're here. You know, the role that college athletics plays at Monmouth is so important, you know, to the mission of the institution and what we're trying to do in terms of educating students. The skills that coaches, athletic trainers, and the many people that support you to get the fields ready or the pitch ready are an important part of your development as a young person here, right? The skills of communication, working together, how do you handle stress, time management, are all skills that help you in developing a really successful career post-Monmouth, as well as becoming good fathers, mothers, family members, and an important part of the mission. Athletics is also an important part for us as a campus because it gives us something to rally around and people that we love and support in our student athletes and bring that school spirit as you're obviously feeling on homecoming. So, you know, it is my pleasure to be part of the ceremony recognizing excellence in athletics over decades, and it represent in the people that are standing on this or sitting on the stage with me now, and that we have time to honor them. You can see that there's very good examples of how they've used their athletic careers here at Monmouth to transform their lives for better and the people that they love. So with that, I welcome you to this ceremony and to celebrate athletics at Monmouth and individuals as well.
Thanks, President Graves, very much. We're here to recognize the accomplishments of 3 special inductees who represented Monmouth College as excellent student athletes. Our first inductee was recognized as a 4-time Midwest Conference All-Conference player and a goal for the Fighting Scots women's soccer program. Here to introduce this inductee is former Fighting Scots soccer coach Barry McNamara.
This year, Fighting Scots women's soccer program is celebrating 30 years as a varsity sport at Monmouth College. In those first 3 decades, there has never been a player quite like Samantha Barenko. For starters, in those 3 decades, there have only been 4 seasons when a Monmouth goalkeeper was named to the All-Midwest Conference team. All 4 times were Samantha Barenko. I was fascinated to discover that, and all 4 of those were first-team selections. Only one other player has ever done that here at Monmouth, Amy Hornick, and she's also in the M Club Hall of Fame. Sam was the first women's soccer player to be named All-Region, which she earned as a junior, repeated as a senior. Only one other player after Sam has 2 All-Region selections. In my 13 years as the head coach, I wanted the team to be regarded as one that played with class and good sportsmanship. Collectively, opponents praised the team from time to time, but Sam was the only one singled out. I've kept that email, which was from St. Norbert's athletic director after Sam helped us reach the conference championship game for senior year, Monmouth's first ever appearance in the final. He wrote, "At the end of the contest, the teams lined up to congratulate each other. Your goalie, Samantha Barenko, had sincere discussion with many of the St. Norbert players and hugged a number of them. Then she came over to the St. Norbert coach, Dennis Dietrich, and gave him a big hug and told Coach Dietrich that she was very proud to have competed against St. Norbert College the past 4 years. I just wanted to say how impressed I was by Samantha, to think that this was the completion of her career, when oftentimes we see student athletes crying at the thought. Sam had the composure in class to deliver that sort of message. Wow, that really impressed me." So I've kept that over the years, and I don't know if I've ever shared it with you, Sam, but there it is. So that's class indeed, and that's something that was instilled in Sam long before she came to Monmouth by her parents, Ann and Ed, and her family. Ann is here with us today, and you might hear her at some point, just like you hear her sharing the games. Sam's Hall of Fame plaque will tell you her relevant statistics, but I wanted to share a few other things about Sam that don't show up in her stats. First off is her Monmouth origin story. In the spring of 2009, I went to a tournament in Rockford to watch a player named Samantha. Ultimately, that player, Samantha Agins, chose Lewis University. But I also saw a goalie named Samantha Barenko play, and I could see right away that she'd be a tremendous asset to our program. I was thrilled a few days later when she returned the questionnaire I mailed her. Her teammate, Lauren Towler, returned one too. Tao wound up being named to 3 All-Midwest Conference teams, so that was a pretty good recruiting trip. Thank you, Samantha Agins, wherever you are. Next up was a phone conversation with this talented goalie recruit, and I've never had one of those calls that lasted longer. Sam can really talk. The word loquacious applies. Look that one up. I can't remember everything we talked about, but this kid from the Chicago suburbs did say something like, "I don't want to go to school in the middle of cornfields." She eventually got past that. Sam committed earlier than most recruits, so I already knew she was coming to Monmouth when Jaime Godina, who's here today, and I went to Highland Park to watch her play in the spring of 2010. She led her team to a 0-0 tie against a very tough team, making a couple brilliant plays. It was a sneak preview of what she'd do a few months later at Monmouth. I remember these next 3 plays from her first season like it was yesterday. Sticking out her strong right hand to knock away a low, close-range header by Grinnell that preserved a 0-0 tie, and then we won in overtime, Monmouth's first ever victory over Grinnell. At Lawrence, getting just a fingertip on a high shot, just enough to redirect it off the crossbar, that preserved an important 1-1 tie. And finally, her incredible play on a penalty kick with 2 minutes left against Lake Forest in the regular season finale. We should probably just call it the save. We had a 1-0 lead, and we had to win to make the postseason tournament. Her spectacular diving save on the PK led to a corner kick, and 21 players gathered in the penalty box. We all lost sight of the ball in the crowd, but when the dust settled, Sam had it, sealing the victory. A few seconds later, the final whistle blew, and the entire team swarmed around the field, Coach Mack included. Denise Nelson's version of the story is a good one too, by the way. For her efforts that season, Sam earned the Midwest Conference's Defensive Player of the Year honor. Not bad for a freshman. For the next 3 seasons, it was more of the same. In our 2012 and 13 seasons, as Sam earned her 2 All-Region honors, we defeated every team in the conference at least once. Sam became a leader of our squad, not only wearing the captain's armband, but leading our off-season insanity workouts. In short, the best way to say it is that she was a coach's dream, the most talented player on the team, also working the hardest in practice in the off-season. She really did bring everyone along with her. The 4 years that Sam played at Monmouth were a golden era for Fighting Scots women's soccer, with 3 playoff appearances and, at the time, a record 12 victory seasons. There were other reasons for the team's success, of course, other talented teammates, some of whom are here today. But the driving force on those teams was our one-of-a-kind goalie, Samantha Baranko, and it is my privilege to present her today for induction into Monmouth College's M Club Hall of Fame.
Thank you. That was incredible. I would like to thank the Monmouth Hall of Fame Committee for this incredible and prestigious honor. To start it off, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my parents and the many sacrifices that they had made for my athletic career to be a reality. I look back and remember all the games where my dad would be sitting in a discreet corner on the sidelines, quietly raising his fist in victory anytime I made a big save. Then there's my mom, my biggest cheerleader. Her passion for being a soccer mom cultivated a camaraderie that will never be forgotten. I am grateful for both of them, as they were my #1 fans. Monmouth College holds a special place in my heart. It all started in Rockford, Illinois, at a soccer tournament. After a game, I remember a tall man with glasses coming up and complimenting me on a few big saves I had made. I appreciated his enthusiasm and was impressed with his eye for talent. His name was Barry McNamara, the head coach of the women's soccer team. Now, Monmouth wasn't my first choice, as my 18-year-old ego was striving to be at a D1 or D2 school. However, those schools were not working out, but Barry's persistence was. I finally decided to visit Monmouth, and after visiting, I remember sitting at the local subway, still unsure about what to do, when a phone call to my mom gave me all the clarity I needed. She said 4 words that changed everything: go where you're wanted. And those words couldn't be more true. You can say it was fate or the universe aligning, as I had the most incredible teammates anyone could ask for. First, I would like to give a shout out to my defensive team. I wouldn't have had many of my shutouts if it weren't for my incredible defenders in front of me. A lot of my shutouts happened because of their shutdowns on some of the best scorers in our conference. Next, I'd like to acknowledge my coach, Barry McNamara, as he was the one who created this golden era in the women's soccer program. If it weren't for Coach Mack and his gifted recruiting abilities, this team wouldn't have happened. The momentum began my freshman year when we made it to the conference playoffs. That alone was a milestone for the women's soccer team, as it was the second time reaching playoffs since 2005. Even though we didn't make it to the finals, we had set the bar high for ourselves in the years to come. My sophomore season, unfortunately, we ended up placing 5th in our conference. I was disappointed in myself, and so I put a lot of time into my own off-season conditioning. Most of my teammates who trained with me will tell you that my workouts aren't for the faint of heart. In fact, they call it insanity. My favorite memories of insanity were that sense of accomplishment and team bonding, or trauma bonding now that I look back at it. Needless to say, going into my junior year with a stronger and fitter team gave us all the confidence to make it to the playoffs that year. I will never forget my junior season, as it was one of the most exciting. In order to make it into the playoffs that year, we needed to win our last 2 games, both against solid teams. The first game was a well-fought 1-0 victory against Carroll. Next was Grinnell, a team we only beat once in our women's soccer history. We were definitely the underdogs, but at least at our home field. The night before the game, Vicky McNamara hosted a pasta dinner for the team. An extra shout out to Vicky for always opening her home to the team to make it feel like a family. She also makes the best cup of coffee I've ever had. The night ended with one of my famous inspirational speeches. This time I played a clip from Any Given Sunday where Al Pacino gives the iconic inch-by-inch speech. In it, he says, "It's the people who fight for every inch who win." In the 67th minute of a must-win game, we led 2-1. The next 23 minutes were our inches. And as the clock wound down, I remember Cammie, a senior captain, rallying us, shouting, "Remember the inches!" We did, and that win advanced us to the conference playoffs. I wish I could say that this fairy tale ended with us winning the conference finals my senior year, but it didn't happen. 4 years of hard work and incredible team spirit ended on that field in Appleton, Wisconsin. But the seeds for success were planted. 5 years later, I got the news that the Monmouth College women's soccer team had finally won the title. Those girls carried the legacy of Monmouth College women's soccer to new heights, and I can't be, more proud to have been a member of that program. Thank you, and roll Scots.
Congratulations and welcome. Our second inductee is, in my opinion, the perfect example of what a D3 athlete can accomplish. She was a team leader in every sense of the word, while her work ethic allowed her to become the most talented multi-event thrower in Fighting Scots history. Here to introduce our second inductee is head track and field coach Brian Wood.
I was told I was going to be sappy. He's probably right. I'll do the best I can to get through this. First, I want to take the opportunity to congratulate the other two inductees. Fortunately, I've been here long enough that I've seen them both perform in a decorated career as a Fighting Scots. Congratulations to Sam and Bo. Today, I get the honor of talking about the most decorated thrower in Monmouth College history, Allison DeVore. Allison came to us from Monmouth College from St. Charles East High School. She made the state meet in the shot put her senior year through 36 feet 10 inches, and she threw the discus a little bit and threw 109 feet. I remember when she came to visit, I was able to meet her father, Peter. I remember how serious he seemed at the time and how he didn't say a whole lot. A little bit the opposite of his daughter. I honestly didn't think I had a chance with Allie. As I look back on it now, I think he was trying to decide whether he could trust me with his daughter and guide his daughter as well. At some point, she did make the decision to be here at Monmouth, and I could not have been more ecstatic. As a freshman, Allison had a great start to her career during the indoor season. She threw 40 feet 4 in the shot, 49.5 in the weight throw. That was the best I'd had a freshman throw the weight, so I was really excited. For those of you who are not familiar with the weight throw, it's a 20-pound weight on a 16-inch harness, and you got to try to land it between a 35-degree sector. Not always easy. She had great veteran teammates in Gloria Lear and Amanda Streeter. Gloria had the school record in the shot put at the time, and Amanda had the school record in the weight throw. They were all competitive, motivated, like-minded kids. I should say kids, student athletes. Allison's success in the indoor season confirmed my beliefs, the type of thrower and person she was during the recruiting process. Allison is an extremely hard worker and somewhat coachable athlete. When we transitioned to the outdoor season, we started off pretty slow following the first 2 meets. She suffered the loss of her father, Peter. When she came back to campus, she struggled with motivation. She struggled with emotional and spiritually as well. Dealing with the loss of her father was extremely difficult. During that spring, she was able to finish some practices. Eventually, she did come back to compete again, but not at the same level or intensity that she had during the indoor season. I cannot imagine what the loss of her father felt like, but I do know how much he meant to her. When that season ended, she went home for the summer. While we did keep in touch during the summer, I really wasn't confident after I saw her in May that I would see her back on campus again. Thank goodness for the first time in my life, I was wrong. The courage and strength she showed by returning to school, I think, was exactly what her father was expecting her to do. She came back with a new fire. During the indoor season, she was conference champion in the shot put and the weight throw, setting a new school record multiple times in the weight throw, and set this conference record as well. We traveled to Capital University, where she became an All-American in the shot put, placing 7th. Please note that 7th becomes an ongoing theme in the shot put, as well as an All-American status by placing 4th in the weight throw by setting a new school record for the 5th time that season. This time during the outdoor season, she saw significant more success. She threw lifetime bests in the hammer, discus, and shot put, and earned another conference championship title in the shot put. Allison's junior indoor season picked up right where it left off the year prior. She was conference champion in the shot and the weight again, breaking both conference records. She broke the school record in the weight throw on 3 different occasions that year as well. Unfortunately, we did not have the same success in the national meet that year. She placed 12th in the weight throw and 13th in the shot. During the outdoor season, she came back to break the school record in the shot put just 1 week prior to the conference championships. She was runner-up in the shot put at the hammer at the conference meet. That goes to show you the kind of people she had around her. Allie, along with 3 other women, made the shot put national championships, as well as Amanda Streeter and Allie in the weight throw, in the hammer throw. At her first national championship, she earned an All-American status in the shot put, placing 7th. Then went on to break the school record and earn an All-American status in the hammer throw by placing 4th. As a senior, she broke the school record in the weight throw 3 more times, while stamping her place in history by setting the school record on a final competition at conference, breaking a school record, conference record, and throwing one of the farthest throws in the history of Division III of 62 feet, 2.5 inches. She also set the school record and conference record in the shot put by throwing 46.4 at that conference meet. At the national championship, she placed 2nd in the weight throw and 7th in the shot put. Allison's performances, along with Raven Robinson and Emily Tiesma, led the women to a 5th place finish at the NCAA championships. That is currently the highest finish in school history. She continued that success into the outdoor season, where she broke the school record in the hammer on 4 different occasions. She was conference champion in the shot and the hammer, while setting the conference record in the hammer. At the NCAA championships, she placed 2nd in the hammer, breaking the school record twice during that competition. And on her final throw of her career, throwing 190 feet, 10 inches. Not many people get to finish on a PR school record. That's a great, fantastic accomplishment. She earned her 8th All-American award by placing 7th in the shot put again. Her performance in the hammer still ranks her in the top 25 in Division III history. So in all, her career stats look like this: 10-time NCAA qualifier, 8-time NCAA All-American. I would love to be at 80% with any athlete at the NCAA championships. She was able to do that. 9-time conference champion. Would have been more on a worse team, that's for sure. More importantly, a part of 8 Midwest Conference championship teams. School record in the hammer, 190 feet, 10 inches, 15 feet better than next MC athlete. School record in the weight throw, 62 feet, 2.5 inches, nearly 4 feet better than the next Monmouth College athlete. Conference record in the weight throw still. Conference record in the indoor shot put still. She still ranks number 22 in the Division III history in the weight throw. She ranks number 25 in Division III history in the hammer. Throughout Allison's career at Monmouth, she strived to be the best. Her character and work ethic were second to none. During my 27 years of coaching here at Monmouth College, no one has made a bigger influence on me as a coach than Allison. She wrote me a letter as she was leaving campus her senior year after graduation. I still have the letter, obviously. I kept it because at the time I was ready to be done coaching, but she reminded me why I did my job. and why I love it. Therefore, all you track athletes that are here now, you can blame her for me still being here. I wish my girls could have been here today. They're supporting each other, playing volleyball. Sorry. Wish my girls could have been here today, this morning, to celebrate this occasion with Allison and us and myself, because they have always considered Allison to be a part of our family. It is my great honor to induct Allison DeVore into the 2024 M Club Hall of Fame.
There's not much that I can say that truly expresses my gratitude for Coach Woodard and Coach Haynes. So I have a few words, so we'll try. But on the drive down last night, my mom was sharing memories with me of all the times that she drove 3 hours to my track meets after working a night shift to watch me throw a few times over the course of several hours, only to turn right around and drive 3 hours back home. So in my heart, I'm dedicating this to her for everything she gave to me and everything she gave up so I can stand here today and accept this honor. When I first came to Monmouth, I didn't arrive as a great athlete, but I realized right away I entered a great track and field program, and I knew I wanted to match the discipline and integrity of those around me. Looking back to over 10 years ago, I'm amazed to reflect on the depth of talent that I was surrounded by for 4 years on the women's throws team. Coach Woodard created a culture of dedication and perseverance that drove us to all of our achievements. We pushed each other and supported each other and held each other accountable. We were fueled by each other's failures and motivated by each other's success. It feels strange to be standing here alone right now because more often than not, I was sharing the medal stand with one or two of my teammates. They are as deserving of this honor as I am, and I truly hope they join me on this medal stand soon, just like in the old days. I also want to thank Coach Woodard for his tireless and endless support in and out of the throwing ring, not only to me, but to all of my teammates who achieved success because of his efforts. I'm so honored to be here today as a testament to your dedication as a coach. Thank you.
Oh, I've always been proud of the track group over the years, and Allison and Coach Woodard certainly, but now everybody knows the throwers are criers. So our third inductee led the 2002 Fighting Scots NCAA playoff baseball team in OPS, hits, and runs scored, falling one game short of the Division III College World Series. Then as a senior, he managed to do something I really should have done the research and seen if it's ever been done, but he was the conference pitcher of the year and the conference infielder player of the year as a shortstop as well, all in the same season, which is pretty difficult. So here to introduce this inductee, Mr. Dean Dinsmore. Dean?
Welcome and thank you. My name is Dean Dinsmore. I'm a 2000 graduate of Monmouth College. I have the pleasure of introducing one of the best ball players to ever step foot on the campus of Monmouth College today. Before I get started, and I'm going to go a little rogue here, Coach Sander passed away 2 years ago, I think 2 days from today, and he loved Bo Hellman. And I'm just sad Coach isn't here today because I know it'd be a special day for him, and we miss you, buddy. I was quite shocked when I received a text message from Bo a few months back asking if I would introduce him to be inducted in the Monmouth College Hall of Fame. I had no idea that Bo would be the next great player, I had no doubt that Bo would be the next great player from my college that would be enshrined. He joins the likes of Joe Larkins, Ryan Johnson, Taylor Thiel, Steve Glasgow, and the great Casey Boyston. But to ask me of all the people really meant a lot to me. My first day on campus at Monmouth College, I had a class with Bo Hellman and Jeremy Prisbilla, freshman son of Virginia Halenga. It was quite special. Jeremy and I often talked about how nervous we were to meet two ball players in our first couple of hours on campus. Chris is a worrywart, so he thought he would never play. Little did either of us know we were standing with a legendary ball player. The best part about Bo is he is just a regular dude. From the first day we had been great friends. He is the type of friend that if you don't speak for 4 or 5 years, you can pick up right where you left off. He is the guy that would give you the shirt off his back. But back to baseball. Sorry I'm crying so much, Coach. At my first optional mandatory workout as a freshman, it was clear Bo was a different ball player. He is so smooth and can do so many things. Immediately I could tell he knew how to handle the bat. His glove was smooth and he had a great arm. Most ball players can watch a guy take one ground ball and you know if they can play or not. With Bo, there were no doubts. Once the spring rolled around, it was evident Bo deserved to be on the field, and he started from day one. I read a blurb recently about Bo's greatness in his all-around game. Once I started to research for this speech, I was a bit surprised about his impact historically. First of all, I remembered this since our playing days, and Coach Haynes mentioned it, touched on it. Bo was an all-conference player all 4 years at 4 different positions. I'll let that sink in for a second. My guess is Bo is probably in a very rare company in the history of the game to be all-conference at 4 different positions in 4 years. His freshman year as a third baseman, and man was he a stud in the hot corner. I would assume he hadn't played a lot of third base in his life at that point because he was always a shortstop. I couldn't tell. The following season, and probably the most amazing up the middle double play combo at Monmouth was 2 Hall of Famers, Boyston at short and number 3 at second base. I will never ever forget a 4-6-3 double play down in Florida where Hellman went hard to his left, deep in the hole, made a diving play. Every human in the world thought he was going to first base. Nope. He popped up and spun and ripped the rock at the second base, where the only other human in the world knew where he was going. Boyston caught that ball and ripped it to first, and it was the best double play I've ever seen in my whole life. We all knew we were watching greatness. His junior season, he was a shortstop and arguably one of the greatest baseball teams ever assembled from Monmouth College. We finally won a conference championship, made it to the postseason. I have to send a personal shout out to my guy for our junior year, as he had too much fun on Scott's Day and could not play the next opening day against Grinnell. Opened the door for myself and Toby Landholm to shine versus Grinnell. So thank you, Bo, for swinging that fan out the window. I got 2 hits and I never looked back. So thanks, Hellman, for your lack of discipline that weekend. Before I move on to his senior season, I have one more story about that postseason run. We had just knocked off the number 2 team in the entire country, Aurora, and set a date with Carthage. Ryan Johnson had done his job in game 1, and we had Joe Larkins going for game 2. I believe Carthage was the number 7 team in the country that year. I guess it's about the 7th inning. We're down 5-3, I believe. Bases are loaded and Hellman steps to the plate. I brag often that I had the best seat in the house for maybe one of the most heroic home runs in the history of the program. I was standing on second base when the Carthage right-hander let a fastball slip down and in. It's like yesterday. I can see Hellman drop the head of that bat on the ball and hit a laser over the left center field wall. The absolute pandemonium at Terry Glasgow Field in that moment will always be a highlight of my life. Unfortunately, we went on to lose that game in extra innings. and we still don't really talk about that. Lastly, for Bo's senior year, he was an all-conference pitcher and was also the player of the year and pitcher of the year in the same season. 4 all-conference awards in 4 years at 4 different positions, including pitcher of the year and player of the year in the conference. This is where the numbers really tell the story. Career accolades. He's top 10 school history in runs, assists, games, and at-bats. He scored 97 runs, be 10th in the school history, 142 hits, makes him 12th all-time. 27 doubles, is 14th all-time. 16th on the career list with 82 RBIs. He had 14 Ks versus Knox in a single game, which tied him for 6th all-time. He is 3rd on the list for games played. This stat alone speaks volumes about his impact from 2000 to 2003. He played in 140 games in that span. The last thing I need to mention about his rankings and what dawned on me with this research, we only needed Bo to pitch 1 season of his career because we were so dang good, we didn't even need him on the mound. Now imagine, this 1 season of being our top starting pitcher, Bo went 6-1. We won't talk about that 1 loss. But with 2.11 ERA, these findings made me wonder what 3's numbers would look like if we asked him to pitch more, or if maybe he had a selfish bone in his body, which he did not. In conclusion, sorry. Sorry, it's been a long road here, getting here this morning. In conclusion, as mentioned before, I'm honored to stand before you today. I'm blessed that I got the chance to dig in on some of these numbers. It allowed me to gain a whole new respect for my old friend. He really went out there every game and gave it his all, selfless for his team, selfless for his coach, and selfless for the legacy he left behind. Bo, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of who you became, the husband and father you are. And I'm proud to have played with you, and most of all, I'm proud to call you my best friend, one of my best friends. I love you, buddy. Everyone, if you could please welcome Monmouth College Hall of Famer, Mr. Bo.
Thank you, Dean. As Dean said, Dean and I had freshman seminar together with Virginia Halenga, so we learned a lot about each other real fast. Dean was obviously my age, but quickly became like a big brother to me. If I wasn't doing things right, Dean was there to let me know about it. Dean, thank you for making sure my dream to continue to play baseball stayed a reality. I'd like to congratulate Samantha and Allison on their accomplishments and their induction into the M Club Hall of Fame. My journey to Monmouth started in a small cafeteria in the basement of Marquette High School. Someone from admissions would come and set up their display with pamphlets, flyers, and a little banner of their school. Well, Michael Blazing, you did a great job. You made me comfortable at a time when I was nervous and scared. Thank you for quickly helping me realize Monmouth was home for me. To the faculty, staff, professors, and student advisors, all I ever wanted to do here was play baseball. But what I learned and what I left here with was so much more. It took a few years, but I finally got the student advisor I wanted, Coach Haynes, and I didn't need to have long talks. He told me exactly what I needed to hear when I needed to hear it. In my eyes, there was no better coach to work with and mentor student athletes. Thank you, Coach. I'd like to thank my coaches. First, Todd Hopkins of Ottawa Marquette. It all started with you, Coach. You lit a fire inside of me as a young, enthusiastic coach, and trust me, I brought some of that creativity here to Monmouth. Coach Weinbright, Coach Dugan. It's not easy coaching a bunch of college kids who don't act normal. But you always looked like you enjoyed coaching us and helping us on and off the field. Coach Sander and all of us ball players were lucky to have you. Coach Sander. Coach Sander and I had a special relationship. I know I pushed his buttons, but he let me to a certain point. He knew he had to let me be me to show my true potential. I knew he didn't like it always because I had to sit on his couch a few times at his house and hear about it. But that's the same couch I sat on when I needed somebody to talk to, and he was there for me. To my teammates, my brothers, thank you for 4 years of amazing baseball. We learned the game, we had fun, and we were good. Thank you for all your hard work and your friendships through the years. I truly love you guys. My roommates, Michael, Jeremy, and Jeff. Michael, thank you for always getting me to practice and teach me things about the real world. Jeremy was a lot like Dean. He made sure I wasn't being too creative. Jeremy had great study habits that I quickly learned I needed to develop. It was those study habits that helped me graduate in 4 years and continue to help me every day. Jeff, without you, I wouldn't be up here today. My best friend in high school, and a huge reason why I was here. Jeff, thanks for making sure we were always where we needed to be. To my brother and sister, Lindsay and Mark, thank you for always pushing me, literally. You were the ones that made me tough, no matter what. Continue to love my family each and every day. My parents, Jim and Julie, you both have supported me in everything I do. I've always had everything I needed, and I've always felt your love. Mom, the strength that you have shown through the years since Mark, Lindsay, and I were little is what has always driven me. I just wanted to make you smile. Thank you, and thank you, Nana and Papa, for making my boys as special as they are. Chelsea, I love you, and I thank you for the boys. Now I get to teach them about life and about the game of baseball. I want to thank everyone for coming today, and as always, it's a great day to be a Scot.
Piece of business. Michael, do they get picked up out here or do they need to meet at the Methodist Church? Meet at the church. All right. So let's congratulate Sam, Allison, and Bo again this afternoon. You're all welcome to hang around for some snacks afterwards. As I said, the Permanent Hall of Fame and their plaques are upstairs if you'd like to see those. While that concludes our Hall of Fame induction ceremony, I invite you to take a look upstairs at the plaques. As I said, everyone associated with Fighting Scots Athletics would like to thank many of you for your generous donations. In recent years, have continued to support many important projects that benefit all Fighting Scots student athletes. So for the parade, that's your next thing. The inductees will meet their driver in the Methodist Church parking lot. That's on South 2nd, so 3 blocks up towards the square. It's the church on the left-hand side across from Security Savings. You need to be there by 10 a.m. Things are kicking off at 11:30. You will also need to be at the 50-yard line in Zorn Stadium with me by 1:45. You'll be announced to the crowd then, and your activities for us are done for the rest of the day. And as I said, that's a special start time at 2 p.m. for the football game. So thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful time on campus and travel safely on your return home. Thanks, folks.